Why should our body be a disadvantage? Or why should we lose opportunities that is meant to change our lives just because we are plus size? Welcome to Real Bodies Real Talk with Anne Ugochi Uchenna. Yes, so I'm going to be talking about how I almost lost the opportunity of getting into the university because I'm a plus size. Just a quick reminder for those of you who haven't heard about Real Bodies Real Talk, I would really ask you guys to go and check our first video on the channel. You have an idea of what we're going to be talking about here on this platform, and it will give you an idea of what I'm about to share with you guys. And please also follow me on my social media handles: TikTok at Real Bodies Real Talk, Facebook Annex Ugochi Benson. And also, if you want to be a part of this conversation, you want to share your story or your experience with us, you can send us a message to the numbers you're seeing on the screen on this video right now, and we'll be happy to have your story shared here with us. So now back to what I want to share with you guys. Okay, so after I finished secondary school, the next step is to get into the university, right? Yes. So going for my post-UTME, that's entrance exam into the university, I and my sister were meant to go for the exam. For those of you who don't know, I'm a twin. Yeah, so we were going to, write exam to get into a private university at the time. That was back then in 2010, and my mom took us there. So we got to the school, and this school, from what we've heard, actually, it was easy to get into the school. As long as your parents can afford to pay the school fees at the right time, at the set time, you're definitely getting an admission into the school. And the entrance exam was not something that is very, So went and we did the exam. To my greatest surprise, my sister got the admission, but I didn't get the admission. And I became kind of worried at some point. And my mom was also worried because to them, we are twins, so there's no way one person will go ahead of another person. So they wanted both of us to go into school together at the same time. So after that happened, we decided to try again in another school, in a sister school to the school we went to. And when we got to the school, we did the exam. It was almost the same thing. After the result came out, it was the same outcome. My sister got the admission, and I didn't get the admission. So in my head, I'm like, is it that I don't know anything? What I wrote inside there, I was very shocked. But I was very worried because what's going on, So in my head, I was like, okay, maybe my sister now will have to go to school before me. And that was what my parents were what they were trying to avoid. So my mom was trying to find out, was the exam hard or whatever. I said no, it was just something that I know I answered well. We did the orals, we answered well. And from what our parents were doing at that time, they can afford to pay the school fees. So while we're contemplating on what to do, someone came and approached my mom and called my mom somewhere, a place. So she started telling my mom the reason why I didn't get the admission. Being that according to what she told my mom, was that the exam is not something that people feel like that. Because if you come here, the only place they always have challenge is the oral exam. So anybody that comes for the exam, your chances of getting the admission is 80 to 85%. The rest is for the orals. So it was not about the exam. It was not about the exam. But that the reason why was because of my size. Because I'm big and fat and all. So they can't give me the admission because they actually recently had an issue with someone who was fat that had an accident. So they were trying to avoid all of those things happening again, so they can't give me the admission. So when my mom came and told me, I was shocked, I was surprised. It actually broke me actually. And I was like, I've never imagined that something like that would ever happen. Like my size would be an issue for the next step of my life and all. So after all of that, we went back home. My parents were very worried and concerned that how is it possible that my sister will have to go to school and me, I'll have to stay behind. So it became a thing of concern for everybody. I was very angry, not just with the school or with whoever thought about that idea, but I was also angry with myself because, to be honest, growing up, when I realized I was a plus size, like, I grew up with that knowing fully well. But at some point in my life, I kind of hated how I looked. I didn't like myself at all. And then growing up, being young, I didn't know a way out or anything. So I just became kind of carefree, careless with myself. Like, how I looked did not matter. And I built a wall of defense for myself whereby I didn't allow people use how I looked against me. Like, you cannot even say anything about how that's use my body or use the fact that I'm fat to insult me and everything. Like, we will all laugh about it because I had a very good response to whatever you're going to say. So, but that was the impression I gave people. But to me, inside of me, I really did not like how I looked. I did not like myself at all in any way. So when that incident happened, it just broke me totally. Like, I think I had feared for something like that, but I had feared for something like that in a different angle, not even when it came to school or job or anything. So I just held myself because I didn't want my mom or my sister to bother themselves about me. So when we got home that night, I can remember I went to the bathroom and I cried. I cried very well. In fact, if they get to watch this video, or if in fact my sister is just hearing it that I cried that day. Yes, she's just hearing it. So I cried. I felt very bad. One, for the fact that I didn't know my size would have been a hindrance. And secondly, I was going to deprive my sister of going to school at the time we were supposed to go. So it kind of bothered me. And it made me realize where the society actually had placed or has or placed plus size people. Because why should my size hinder me from getting into school? Why should my size be an issue from getting that job or being loved by somebody or wearing that clothes I want to wear, So there were so many obstacles, so many things that were hindrances to me growing up until now, up until recent years. So it kind of bothered me. When we came back home after that, my parents started looking for a way that I could burn fat, like I could reduce drastically, like magic. And I could see that worry on their face. So I tried. I'm someone who things don't usually bother. Yes, I'm somebody that even if it bothers me, you won't know except I tell you. It doesn't show. So I'm very good at hiding my like how I feel exactly, except it gets to a point where I have to voice it out. So I didn't make my parents see that side of me. But there were times when I'm on my own, I'll think, reflect, cry, say things like, why am I like this? What happened? And all. It was those periods. So I saw the way my parents were on their feet. They took me to places to go get slimming tea, supplements. It didn't work. Cream. It did not like. I could see the restlessness in them during that period. So they took me somewhere to go and get a supplement. I think Shake Off at that time. So I was meant to take this thing and I would burn fat to a point. You get. And there were times when I was taking that thing, I would cry because it was not sweet. It was not even nice in the mouth. I would tell my mom, I don't want to take it. I cannot take it and all of that. But I had to because one, my sister going to school was in my hands and me going to school was also in my hands. So I just had to do something. So anyhow, I just had to lose weight drastically. So those periods were a tough time for me, but I'm very glad that at the end of the day, I got into the school. I got admission into school. and we both went to school at the time we were supposed to go. Thank God. But who knows? I mean, so many. I'm very sure there are so many people who, one way or the other, have lost opportunities like this, or almost lost opportunity like this. Maybe in terms of job, relationship, anything during this period. Like, just to hear reason being that it's because you're a plus size, because you're fat. It has a way of lowering your self esteem. It has a way of making you lose confidence in yourself and in the society, because these are people you had hope that would accept you, will welcome you no matter how you are. But only for you to get to that system and realize that these same people you had hopes in are the very same people who are rejecting you. And it just made me see life differently. And so during my university days, I thank God for the kind of friends I had during that period, and the fact that I was always with my sister. So it was very easy for me to flow. But it made me just be like, hide myself, and all of that. And I don't know how many people must have gone through any of this, this, and there are so many things also. But I'm glad I was able to come out of that, graduated and all of that. And I must say it wasn't easy. It's still not easy anyways. But thank God that we're able to pull through and become, getting to the point of our lives where I'm beginning to appreciate who I am. I'm beginning to love myself, and not just loving how I am right now, but learning to be better, learning to look better, learning to stay healthy and all of that. So it's a process, it's a gradual process. I would definitely get there soon. So that was what happened during that period. And I must tell you, it kind of made me lose confidence in myself. I think I've said that. It kind of made me lose confidence in myself. I was so shy of being around people, especially guys. So I didn't even have much of male friends, because in my head I was like, how will these people look at me? How will these people see me? you know I was scared of talking when I'm supposed to talk. I'm a very funny person, yes. So but when I get to a place where I get this feeling that I'm being accepted and people are kind of comfortable with me being around, that's the time I get to open up. Then you just see the funny part of me. But if not, I'll just stay. And all of these things were factors. Being a plus size, I felt I wasn't welcomed. Yeah, that's how I felt. I felt I wasn't welcomed. I felt people didn't really want to associate themselves with me, and all of that. That was how I felt. Sometimes I still feel like that anyways. But thank God I'm growing out of that. I'm becoming bolder, accepting myself, loving myself, and realizing that the society does not have to make me, like, how I want the society to see me is how I want to see myself. So it has to start from within me first before the society. So I have to start loving myself. You have to start loving yourself. Irrespective of how you are, tall, fat, short, slim. I've heard people who are slim say they want to be fat. I've heard people who are fat say they want to be slim. That's life. But irrespective of however you are, learn to love yourself, learn to appreciate yourself, learn to be yourself, learn to accept who you are. And that's if the first form of you growing, first form of you being bold and confident about yourself. Why working towards being a better person? Why working towards living a better life? So you can just do all of that and don't lose yourself in the process. I'm telling you, don't lose yourself in the process, because the moment you lose yourself in the process and you start hating yourself, people and society unconsciously you feel they hate you, because you already see yourself as less of yourself. So in your head, that's how people and society is looking at you. But the moment you love yourself and accept yourself for who you are, People will unconsciously accept you, love you, as long as you're yourself and you present yourself to be that beautiful, bold, mature, confident lady or guy that you are. So don't let anybody tear you down. Don't let anybody, any words that people say about your body or how you look weigh you down. Don't let what they say be a definition of who you are. Define yourself to people. That's the only way they can accept you. Whether they accept or they don't accept, you've accepted yourself. You love yourself. That's what matters. And when you do this consciously or unconsciously, people or the society will get used to it and accept you at some point. You know. So build yourself in that manner. I don't know if you flow or get what I'm saying, but I hope this makes sense to somebody out there because it actually makes sense to me. So if you have a similar story or any story you want to share with us here on Real Bodies Real Talk, we'll be glad to have you here to see your story, to share your story, and let the world also hear your story. This place is a safe space for plus size people, especially where we pour out our hearts, our experience, and our stories for the world to hear and accept us for who we are. While we work towards being better people, while we work being better person to ourselves and to those who care and love us. So this platform is for you and I. If you have been misunderstood, misjudged, or overlooked, this is home for you. So until I come your way in our next episode, I remain your girl and go to China. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel at Errand Girl TV on Real Bodies Real Talk. Follow me on TikTok on Real Bodies Real Talk. And send us a message if you want to have these conversations, if you want to be a part of this conversation on this platform. I'll be glad to have you, like I said earlier. And don't forget that your body is your body and your journey is also your journey. Thank you for watching and stay blessed. Bye.